I collect Pokemon. Do you have Bellsprout? Why, as a matter of fact, I do. Want to trade it for my Onix? Yes! Okay, guys, welcome to my Pokemon Crystal walkthrough. I'm your host, DeoGenZ, and we are going to trade up this Bellsprout that I just caught moments ago. And this is the first in-game trade that you can find in the game. It's actually a pretty useful trade, too, because this Onix, if you decide to train it up, can be a real comrade when facing Falconer, the gym leader of Violet City, which, incidentally, is where we'll find our first badge. But if you'll notice the borders, you'll see not only is the gym in the picture, but so is a mysterious tall building. Seems to blow in the wind. What could it be? Well, we'll see when we get there. But right now, we got Onix. I won't be training up an Onix because I don't think you can evolve it until you get the Steel Coat, which is after the Pokemon League. So I want to try and go at it with all fully evolved Pokemon. But before we put it in our box, let's just take a look at it. It's nicknamed Rocky, and since it's not your Pokemon, you can't actually rename it, so kind of stuck with the stupid name. But it's got a Bitter Berry on there, so you can just detach that and keep it for yourself. Also, a note about trading in any Pokemon game. Whatever level the Pokemon you trade has, that will be the level that you receive. So you're not going to be trading a weak level 5 Bellsprout for like a level 20 Onix or anything. It's balanced that way. So, the tower we are going to today, the Sprout Tower, home of the Bellsprout Sages. However hard we battle, the tower will stand strong. Oh yeah, it's so strong it's missing floorboards. Real awesome there, Sage Nico. And there are so many of these Sages, and I am going to be doing the switch out for experience for my Mr. Poof today, that I'm going to have to speed up all these battles. So, watch as I trance dance all over these fools. And if I raise Cyndaquil up to have Ember, this place would be a piece of cake. But I want my team to be balanced, and since Mr. Poof is really a weak member of my team, I want to focus early on getting some easy experience for it. The good thing is, once Mr. Poof gets an offensive move, he can actually take on these Bellsprout. The first offensive move he gets is Tackle. And even though it's not a Grass-type move, and we are facing Grass-type Pokemon, which obviously it would be null and void in effectiveness, he still stands strong with his resistance to Grass types. So that's going to be very key once he gets his first offensive move. I fought hard, but I lost. Now, one question I have to ask, if you talk to one of the people down there, I think it's the girl down there with the pigtails, she says that a Bellsprout is in the center of this tower, and that brown shaking thing is its stalk. Now, when I was a kid, I always thought that, you could somehow... I didn't know anything about Game Sharks or hacking or anything like that, but I thought somehow you'd be able to go up to see the top of the tower and see a gigantic Bellsprout head coming out of there. But one thing I never understood is the Tin Tower was like that too. It had that kind of shuffling center. So I don't really see how they say that's the Bellsprout stalk, but whatever. But that was always funny. I would try and think when I was little, how could I get around this piece of pixels here? The thing that really inspired me to do that was finding the break in the fence in the National Park, which is close to Goldenrod, which we definitely will be checking out later. But when I saw that break in the fence, and I was little, so I had no idea that that was all supposed to be programmed in, and just, if you're a good explorer, then you'll find that. But I thought, if there was a way to break through these pixels and get onto the other side, I had all kinds of imagined visions for what could be on the other side of those. All new lands to explore, but didn't turn out to be so. Okay, so we got an X accuracy. I'm not really a fan of the X accuracy, X attack, anything like that. I never use them. I always seem to just go head on with the power that I have. In fact, I don't think I've ever used them ever in any Pokemon game. I may have tried them out, but once I saw what they were all about, I was like, oh, this is stupid. What's the point? So this is pretty good. Our Cyndaquil is also resistant to grass here, so we're not really going to be taking any hits. But if you wanted to train Rocky, which is still in our team, this would not be the place to go. Not at all. I think you'd have to really just train in the wild until you got strong enough to face Falconer. And I actually don't know off the top of my head what level Onix in this game learns any rock-type move. But, you know what? Even if it can't learn one within a reasonable amount of time, level-wise, because you can only level up so much with the wild Pokemon experience that's available early on in the game, you still have that resistance to flying type with Onix, so that's a big benefit. And this will be technically the first boss that we face. This is like a sub-boss, mini-boss of the Pokemon series. And in the remake, he gets his own sprite. One thing I wish they would have done in the remake that they didn't do, and they didn't change up here either, is give the sages their own music. And then especially the last sage, when we get to the end of this, let's just grab this item here. Potion! But especially at the last sage, I really think they should have added some custom music. That would have been just so epic. Okay, so the Elder has an HM, which stands for Hidden Machine. And it can apparently brighten up the darkest of zones. Bet we could use it on that dark cave we passed. And that growth thing, I don't see what the point is. All the Bellsprout do it, and now that we have Ember, it's really no problem. I'm just getting tired of switching out with Mr. Poof. Yeah, it's like, oh, growth! I grew nothing! I always thought that when I was younger that the Bellsprout were getting larger or something. That I thought that they were actually trying to grow up. I was like, really? They're gonna get larger? I don't see it. Ah, the memories of a noob. We all were there at one point. Okay, now this guy, he switches it up with a Hoot Hoot. He's the only one besides the last boss here that has a Hoot Hoot. But we will happily switch out Mr. Poof to gain that experience. Take you down with an Ember. There we go, level 11 and level 13. Gain 2 levels off one Pokemon, not a bad deal. What's this? You are indeed skilled as a trainer. As promised, here is your HM. But let me say this. You should treat your Pokemon better. The way you battle is far too harsh. Pokemon are not tools of war. He claims to be an elder, but he's weak. Stands to reason. I'd never lose to fools who babble about caring for Pokemon. I only care about strong Pokemon that can win. I really couldn't care less about weak Pokemon. Oh no, he's escaping! Grab him, damn it! He still has the stolen Pokemon. Maybe one day we'll get it back. Never. So good of you to come here! Sprout Tower is a place of training. People and Pokemon test their bonds to build a bright future together. I am the final test. Allow me to check the ties between your Pokemon and you. Oh, epic no music. That is custom. Sage Lee wants to battle. Okay, so Sage Lee is just as original as all his other Bellsprout compadres downstairs and on the same floor of this Sprout Tower. He's going to lead out with his Bellsprout, and since all he can do to me is Vine Whip and Growth, it doesn't matter how much he grows, and doesn't actually grow, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Vine Whip was a physical move. I think that's a pretty broken mechanic. I believe it is, yeah. I never noticed that back in the day. So we are just going to keep weakening this guy with tail whips. And then we'll unload some massive tackle. Let's see how much this does. Okay, good. 2-hit KO. Poof. Why is his name Mr. Poof? Because all your moves are not effective, and the noise is poof. I always loved the original noises of super effective and critical hits and the not very effective noise. Just a very minor thing that I always appreciated of this game. Could make a musical piece out of that, or remix or something. Okay, so now we're going to switch out because he can use Peck. And he will not be phased by our tackles. He'll take us out before we could even get tail whips. Critical hit! That does not affect me. And my Ember. Burn in hell, you owl. Oh, there you go. Done. Okay, so now the last Pokemon he has is another level 7 Bellsprout. So of course we are going to switch it up to Mr. Poof and gain all that experience. I gotta take experience where I can get it from Mr. Poof because he's such a weak member of the team. Eventually with time and some good training, I'm sure he'll be rewarding to raise, but for now, he really can't do much. There you go, growing without growth. Another tail whip. Let's see if we could take him out with one hit. That would be awesome. Because the last Bellsprout I hit with 2 tail whips. And this one should go down with 1 tackle. Let's see. No? Ah, you're stronger. I guess this one's defense is a bit higher than the last. Now you're done. Woohoo! Level 12. And now we defeated the Sage. Ah, excellent. Okay, you and your Pokemon should have no problem using this move. Take this, Flash Hidden Machine. HM05. Now we can illuminate dark caves. Awesome. Well, on the next episode, we will be taking on the next boss of this town. 2 bosses in this area. The Sage and, of course, Falconer. So I will see you then.